Afternoon, everyone. Welcome on YouTube, Facebook. Welcome to Goldington Road, home of the Bedford Blues in the RFU Championship, and playing host today to one of the Premiership's jazziest teams. Northampton Saints roll into town. My name is Sam Roberts, and alongside me for this game is one of Northampton's favourite sons. Once of this parish, once of this postcode nearly. He played his rugby about 600 yards away in that direction at Bedford School, but now very much a Northampton scholar. George Furbank, welcome. You brought the rain with you, didn't you?
Hi Sam. It's pretty unfortunate first game of the season that decided to hose it down. It's been lovely all week and get to game day, typical rugby, hose it down.
It might ease up, we might be okay, and it might play a part. We've certainly got two fantastic teams to take part this afternoon, and you're looking forward to it, aren't you? I mean, it should be exciting.
Yeah, it should be. We've been working pretty hard in pre-season, and obviously we play a pretty exciting brand of rugby, and Bedford play a very similar brand of rugby, so if the ball can stay in hand, and I'm sure we're expecting some good fun.
Let's talk through that sort of partnership, if you like. A lot of it has been made of it. Certainly Bedford Blues are incredibly grateful for the friendship, but from a Northampton Saints point of view, how does it work for you, this sort of partnership of having Bedford Blues as your brethren, if you like?
I think it's massive, especially for the young boys, to have an opportunity to go and play Championship rugby. A lot of the lads wouldn't have played men's rugby before, so to go and play Championship rugby with a side like Bedford, who, like I said, play a very similar style of rugby to Saints, is a massive learning curve, and I think all of our players who've been there have developed hugely over their time here, and it's just a great club to be a part of. Like, I've been down here on a few home games, and it's always busy, always a really good atmosphere, and always entertaining rugby. So I'm quite jealous, to be honest, and that I didn't get that opportunity when I was young at Saints.
The two teams are scrolling in front of you on the screen. Bedford Blues put out the following 15, and you can see it in front of you. Lennon and Maisie get a go at 9 and 10. There's a chance to have a look at Howard at 8 as well. James Fish, the former Northampton Saint, captains the side from hooker. There's a back three of Adamson, Worley and Tapley, who know their way around this particular postcode incredibly well. Mike Rare in charge once more, overseeing things. I spoke to him a little bit earlier. He said complacency is the enemy. When he's been doing it as long as he has, you want to guard against the fact that you may know or may think about what you may think you know what's coming your way in this league, and he's very much open and ready for that charge today. Northampton Saints side, as George mentioned, quite young, some seasoned pros sprinkled amongst it. Certainly you've got James Grayson at 10, Joel Matavesi at 12 as well, and in the pack Angus Scott Young and Tom Cruise captains the side from hooker as well. Those experienced voices, George Furbank, are going to be exceptionally important today.
Yeah, they will. We'll look onto those boys to sort of drive the game and move us around the field as best they can. And then obviously you got the energy and the skill sets of some of these youngsters as well. They've been unbelievable in pre-season, working really hard. Some very good athletes who are also learning very quickly on the field as well. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting team that we got out.
Not too long ago you were a young man, and you were starting out and making sure you understood what was going on. What's the trickiest aspect of being a young player? Because there must be so much excitement, so much keenness, so much eagerness to get out there and do it, but you've got to temper it, haven't you?
Yeah, you do a little bit. I also think you've got to make the most of it. So we're pretty lucky at the club that you come straight from school, you're 18 years old, you're into the first year of the ACAD, and you're training with the first team straight away. And a lot of clubs don't do that, I don't think. So you just got to make the most of the opportunity, learn as much as you can from a young age, and try and soak in as much information as possible for them, and also make the most of your time on loan, because the likelihood is you're going to be going on loan in those first couple of years. So make the most of those opportunities while soaking in as much information as you can when you're training with the first team at the club.
And also pre-season, it's a lot of running around, I understand, a lot of fitness, so ball in hand moments are precious, and here's a big one this afternoon.
Yeah, we've actually had a really big focus this year on just getting a bit stronger, and we've been doing 6-7 gym sessions a week and focused a little bit less on that running side, but we started getting back into the proper rugby over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks, and so yeah, we'll see how we go today.
Referee Joe James is out there. Will Maisie has his hands on the ball, and Bedford will kick up and up the slope. And Northampton Saints in their away strip of white, a lovely green and yellow stripe down the middle. And it is Maisie's left boot that hangs it up into the sky, and Joel Matavesi, a man who would have played alongside Will Maisie a fair few times, handles the ball on its way down into the 22. Archie McParland is wearing 9, a good young prospect at England under 18 level, Archie McParland, and this has his hair coloured in a special kind of blonde. And a little look at young Howard as well. Joe Howard, 22 years old, new signing for Bedford Blues out of Hartpury University. Venter, Grayson, more on that a little bit later. Of course, we have a Grayson on both sides of the pitch. I'm sure they'll be going hammer and tong at each other. Brothers Joe and Ethan. Bedford look to spread it wide. The rain doesn't seem to have put them off their running game. Worley, good quick hands. Adamson turns his man, kicks it over, and George Hendy is going to watch this one and watch it quite carefully as well. Hendy gives a knowing glance to Adamson again. This game this afternoon, very much a case of players who know each other. The Northampton Saints team is littered with players who played a fair amount in Bedford Blues colours. And George Hendy is just that man, but he just about got the ball down. And it's positive. It rained, George Furbank, but ball in hand, hey?
Yeah, it's a really good start from Bedford. I think they've just caught us with some tight defence at times and look to shift that ball, and they've done pretty well to do that in difficult conditions to do that.
Venter comes down with the ball on the opposition 22. Northampton Saints having to defend. Lennon at number 9. Alex Day on the bench this afternoon. Lennon again with quick ball. Good run from Jack Arthur, trademark from the number 6, but good work over the ball from the Northampton Saints. And they looked as though they might have got it back, but no, Maisie gets it. Little prod through. It's going to work and bounce horribly for the Northampton Saints, who wrestle with it on their own 5-metre line. Looks as though Blues have got it. Lennon's going to have another go. Williams played such an important part last season, Williams, and getting a good go at it now. And towards the line they go. Brian O'Connor, the Irishman, to the line. Oh, missed pass. Surprised most people. Jamie Jack to the line. Prop forwards both doing a little bit of rumble early on in this game. Lennon again, quick ball. Wide it goes. Good work from Kieran Curran. Keeps it there. Maisie picks it out wide. Tapley dips the shoulder and goes over the line. And that will be a popular score. Pat Tapley, in his testimonial year, kicks off the Bedford Blues scoring for this game and for this season, and it was well worked. Patient stuff there, George Furbank from the Bedford Blues.
Yeah, it was excellent build-up. Like I said, these conditions are really difficult to handle the ball, and they kept hold of it, gone through 8 or 9 phases and scored in the corner. Yeah, excellent phase play and really good opportunity there and good finish from Pat.
Yeah, and the patience is key in a sense. You know, we talked about the eagerness, the keenness to get things done. You know, you would have also spoken about as a team, Bedford Blues would have spoken about just making sure these processes are right, and they went through those phases very well.
Yeah, exactly. I think you've got to adjust a few things in the wet. You've got to be a little bit tighter to that ruck, give yourself a little bit more time on the ball, so you can get a good catch before you get going forward. So. They've done really well to adjust to that, and yeah, really good first goal.
Will Maisie's left boot is all the way out here on the right hand touchline. Kick looks handsome, and it's good. An extra 2 points for Will Maisie as well. That's a confidence booster for him, and a little smile from his captain James Fish as he runs past him. Well, it was absolutely torrential about 10-15 minutes ago. It was coming in sideways. I'm pleased to say that the rain has stopped. It'll be greasy underfoot though, and the ball on the floor, it will get tricky. There might be some handling errors. That's Alex Walford from Bedford Blues, who reaches high into the sky to come down with the ball. Ruben Logan has picked everyone's pocket. No, it's Pollock. Pollock brilliantly to the floor or to the ground, and Blues have just about rescued that back.
And away, wide.
Henry Pollock doing some fantastic work round the side and picking about 5 different players' pockets at once there. Henry Pollock, he's wearing 8, advertised previously as potentially playing at 7, but Henry Pollock will play 8. Henry Pollock, George Furbank, is a man to look at and wonder just how far he can go in the game. Extremely good CV at age grade level.
Yeah, he's been incredibly impressive in pre-season as well. He's got a ridiculous engine on him, and although he doesn't look that big, he's very physical as well. I think he just loves that side of the game and just loves being a nuisance, loves being a bit of a nose. And he's very good at it as well. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets quite a few run-outs in the Premiership this season.
Saints managed to ruin that line out for Blues, and into the midfield they come. This is James Cherry wearing 7 from Nottingham University.
Away 5.
And the Nottingham club. He's one of the players who's got an asterisk next to their name, which means that they are on loan for this match, as it were. They're a guest today. Saints build well. Good energy, good impetus down that short side, and that was misfielded there by Ruben Logan, wearing 6 on his back, but it will be tricky, as I mentioned earlier. The rain and the difficult conditions making handling tricky. Once again, Pollock making good ground whilst being sort of into the tackle area. I suppose that's absolutely crucial, George. You can take a tackle, but if you work extra hard to make those 2 or 3 metres, it can make a huge amount of difference to the people following you.
Yeah, exactly. It just gives you that little bit of impetus, a little bit of front foot ball, and it's a much easier ride, especially for the backs. If forwards are getting that front foot ball on the edge, well, it's easier for the forwards in the next carry, and then for the backs to show up as well. So yeah, like that carry is something we really work on at Saints, because for our game to work, it has to go forward. We speak a lot about go forward, and Pollock's done a great job there, and the sort of way we play really suits that, because he spends quite a lot of time on the edge, and he's quick and very physical.
He's exceptionally quick. We may well see that turn of speed today. Grayson finds Worley up against Litchfield. Litchfield gets the better of him. Worley places the ball back, the Hong Kong international. Maisie with a little step. He is greeted by the shoulder of Joel Matavesi, who puts him down. Walford again, strong carry from him. James Lennon takes to the skies with his left boot. Underneath it is Hendy. He watches it well. Hendy's gait and step is known very well in these parts, and they'll have to watch him. Good interplay. Grayson with a little delay on things. And it's Tom Seabrook, who's in official Northampton Saints debut today. He's quite good on debut, Tom Seabrook. More on that a little bit later. I'll ask George Furbank the question I was going to say there. Dean Adamson back to Lennon, who's going to clear his lines and keeps it infield. Grayson goes back, ball tiptoes into the 22. Adamson is after it. Grayson shows him well, and away comes Hendy. They will have to grab his coattails. You cannot let Hendy get a yard or 2, and it's a big penalty from the referee to Bedford Blues. Quite sure holding on, I think, was the call there. Bedford will get a penalty. So the question was, what did Tom Seabrook do on debut faster than anyone else?
What did Tom Seabrook do on debut? In this game?
Yeah. In the Premiership.
In the Premiership.
His Premiership debut.
It must be scoring a try.
It is. Do you know how quick it was?
I'll guess.
Go on. It's in seconds.
12 seconds.
that would be extraordinary. No, 58. But there you go. That was a nice little quiz for you. Yeah, Tom Seabrook scored on debut for Gloucester. Fastest ever Premiership try on debut. It's not the fastest try. That is under 12 seconds. It's 7 seconds, I think.
It's good knowledge, that.
Yeah.
Who scored that?
Lee Blackett.
Back in the day.
Yeah, there you go. You see? Lee Blackett. Where's he? Is he down at Bath now?
Yeah, I think he's coaching attack at Bath now.
There you go. See? Those little bits, they're in there. Yeah. They're in my brain.
I'm quite impressed.
Steady on. Don't get me too excited. Adamson is underneath this ball. Worley is going to field it, and he's going to have a look at the fence in front of him and try and find a hole. O'Connor, the pass behind Grayson means that he has to stumble and retrieve the ball.
Don't push it into him. Don't push it into him. Keep moving out, please.
Lennon's going to try and get Williams out the way and get his hands on the ball. I think this is going up in the air. And he's going to come and try and gain this. He does that very well. Oh, he caught the ball and then dropped it on the way back down. Knock on here. Blues have got advantage. A little inside ball there from Fish. Worley scurried past him. Maisie launches the ball end over end into the 22 it goes. McPartland is going to do something very clever and keep the ball in, and then kicks it downfield, and Hartland will have done well there because that ball is going to bounce awkwardly and out of touch for Maisie. Maisie's going to keep it in field though, and he takes a quick throw at the line out. Grayson is going to set about trying to find a hole, and he doesn't. He's sent backwards by George Hendy's shoulder, which was a good tackle. Reinforcements come in for the Bedford Blues. Lennon behind Fish, and the referee says that did go forward. Saints have got a ball here to play with. Now the backs get it. I guess Scott Young eventually hauled to the floor. Scott Young, one of the more experienced players in this Northampton Saints side. And that ball is going to unfortunately divert. It looked as though it might be heading towards that treacherous corner at Goldington Road, but it went dead. George Furbank, your thoughts at the moment purely on Saints? How you feeling? How are you seeing it?
I don't know how that ball's gone dead, to be honest. It's perfectly kicked down into the corner and decided to take a kick left. I think we've got into our shape pretty well in attack and looked to shift the ball. Obviously, it's quite difficult conditions. I think our D's just been caught tight quite a few times. So we just need to look to fill that field a bit more and slow that ball down if possible, because like ours, Bedford are very good when they get quick ball and they have the ability to shift it wide. So I think we can fight a bit more in the tackle, slow that ball down, and that allow us to get our width and stop their attack a bit more.
John Matavesi has taken an early seat. I'm going to get confirmation of exactly who's come on.
I think it's Ewan Baker. Yeah. There's another good talent from our first year academy. I think there's quite a few of them this season who've come up who look really promising in pre-season, and whether they play at Bedford or they'll definitely play a bit of Prem Cup. I might get a few Premiership opportunities as well, so it's pretty exciting for that first year.
And how do you feel about that when the new lads come in? Is there an element of trepidation? I know you're very good, you're very experienced, but there must be a little bit. You just scan them, just have a quick look round, see. Not too good. No, don't want them too good, do you?
No, ideally not. Now, I'm kidding. I like. It's really good to have that sort of competition for places. I think everyone sort of drives everyone else's standards, and it pushes you to work that extra bit harder and keep improving your game. And like particularly George Hendy at the moment has been pulling up trees in pre-season, and I think again he's definitely going to be pushing boys all the way to get quite a few Premiership minutes this year. He's strong, quick, and pretty elusive as well. So he's a very exciting talent to look out for.
About a quarter of an hour gone. Seems like that might be a rumble of thunder in the distance. The clouds over the far side look a little bit grey. Welcome to YouTube and Facebook if you're joining us. Sam Roberts alongside George Furbank overseeing this friendly, although I always smile to myself whenever I think of the word friendly in a game of rugby. Not really a thing. These guys will definitely be going to try and make a claim against each other, as George mentioned there. Many players in the Northampton Saints side will be looking to nick a spot off some of these Bedford Blues players.
Still waiting for the first Grayson on Grayson collision at the moment. I'm very excited for that.
And Scott Young comes down with the ball, the knowledgeable Australian, now pushing and pulling and screaming at his pack to get their bodies in the right position to try and get a bit of go forward. Cruz might have his hands on the ball. McPartland is beckoning, and Litchfield will take a little inside step and try and get past his initial tackler. Now Pollock, Henry Pollock wearing 8 this afternoon. McPartland, his England under-18 teammate Grayson over the top. Hendy's loitering. Hendy for the corner, and that's a good response from Northampton Saints. And just as George Furbank was mentioning him, up steps Mr. Hendy and gets his name on the score sheet. Nice, neat score for Northampton Saints, George.
Yeah, I think Grace bossed that really well. We've speaking a lot this season about being clinical in that 22, and I think Grace bosses that so well, and he's very good in those moments when that pass over the top needs to be delivered. So yeah, it was good maul to start off with, and a pretty good score in the corner.
This game always has a lot of points in it. averaging around 43, 45 points in the last 5 or 6 occasions that they've met. And we've got off to a try each and a kick from the far touchline for James Grayson to ponder over. Hits the post, unfortunately. Good effort though from Grayson. Well, the rugby coming thick and fast. I'm sure, like every rugby fan, you're glued to your screens at the moment. Just about squeeze this one in, and then off to a whole feast of rugby this afternoon and this evening as the Rugby World Cup looms. Should be a very interesting couple of months, and we'll get George Furbank's take on the World Cup and exactly what might befall England and all the other teams a little bit later. McParland is going to lift this up in the air. The wind is a tricky one at the moment. It is squally. Oh, and it's going to hit George Hendy, and Hendy is going to juggle with it, and Hendy's going to go and steal home. Brilliant from George Hendy. He's just pulled Matt Worley's pants down there.
Yeah, he just took it from his grasp, didn't he? I should start speaking about some more players and then start scoring some tries. That's awesome work from Hendy. It was just a really good kick chase, and again, that's something we've been working on in training is getting that ball back from our nines kicking. It's just a really good kick chase and followed up pretty well.
You'll have sympathy because it's a horrible situation. That was smacked back and the ball bouncing, and you will have been in that situation. You can't quite trust a rugby ball to do what you want it to do, can you? Yeah,
you never know where it's going to go. Yeah, it's a really tricky skill, to be honest, especially in the wet like that. That first high ball take, you've got lads running at you, you've got your own teammates running at you to try and protect you, and you just got to try and keep utmost focus on the ball and go and be aggressive in the air. And then once that ball goes down, it's anyone's, and Hendy managed to come and steal at that time.
Brilliant conversion from the touchline. Got his sighter in with the first one. Grayson is successful with his second kick at goal and extends Northampton Saints' lead to 12-7. I forgot to ask the management. I assume we're playing 40 minutes all the way through. We're not having any breaks or anything like that. Maybe if it was hot and sunny, they might have done it, but maybe this will be 40 minutes all the way through. Lennon, the ball on from Howard. Curran puts his head down. We got him from Wasps last year, Kieran Curran, and he made a really steady impact and grew with confidence into last season. And at the end of it was making some really good impressions on the championship, and I know he's back for more and interested in what he can do. O'Connor, one of a number of men who's made the move up the A40 from Gloucester to Bedford. Seabrook has pinched that one really well. Talking of Gloucester players, Seabrook just about holds his form there. Litchfield plays conduit. Miller Mills, an industrious carry there. Hendy plucks that one out the sky. Looked as though it was heading over his head, but he readjusted his body. Worley slides back. Audacious dummy. It isn't quite bought by the chasing Northampton defenders. And now Bedford have got to work really hard over the ball to make it theirs.
Still hear Sam Festy screaming at the lads with headphones on from down here.
That make you a little bit scared there when Festy started screaming.
You should have seen it in COVID. It was a nightmare. You do something wrong and you can hit Festy from the stands.
Yeah, it's, I remember those. And I think the reverberations of the stadia didn't quite help. Almost, they made him sound like God. The ball is kicked out on the far side. It starts to rain just a little bit away to my right, which is from where the weather is coming from. It does look brighter, so we may just have to get through the next 5-10 minutes or so of this rain, and then we might have a clearer patch.
Don't change one.
Sam Roberts bringing you the weather forecast as well as the rugby. Good rolling maul this with Northampton Saints. They've got some good body positions, and Blues are struggling. Alex Wolford will temporarily put a stop to things, but Partland will release his back line. Litchfield, good, strong, traditional carry from him. Partland again fires the ball out beautifully. Grayson does excellently to take that off his toes. Partland again. Scott Young, lovely soft hands. Logan looks to wrestle himself free. Scott Young again, good tackle in the midfield. Williams, I think it was, on Scott Young. Inside ball. Saints just trying to probe here, just trying to find one of the doors that is a little ajar. Partland again, good quick ball.
Push, push, push.
Cruz.
Back feet, lads. Yes,
Ball is just nudged free and lost and snaffled by Bedford Blues, and here comes Howard. Going to take things on from his own 22. And Lennon thinks better of it and boots it downfield. And the ball is going to, because of the greasy surface, just skid and sit up a little. Good chase from Bedford Blues means that they managed to collar their man.
Yes.
And good from Venter as well over the ball. He's snaffled that one. And unfortunately, the referee's seen an infringement from Bedford Blues. But too eager to get in after the ball. And holding on is the call, and Northampton Saints get the lead off. Well, decent exit there from Bedford Blues, but Saints were building. George Furbank.
Yeah, I think both teams sort of thrive on those opportunities where turnover ball and you can look to shift it, and you've got broken defences, and they're the sort of things that we live for. And yeah, you can expect either team to go from sort of 80 metres, and that's what makes it so exciting with these teams playing against each other.
A word on Jordan Venter, who's joined Bedford Blues from Bath and looking for an opportunity in the Championship. He was incredibly a lot of good things said about him out of the Paul Roos School down in South Africa, and came over here, was up at Edinburgh, then at Bath, and hampered by injury. And maybe just a drop down to the Championship is the sort of thing that these players can sort of really benefit from, George. You know what I mean? Just that little step down to go forward. Sometimes going forward at that level is tricky. You need to step down to go forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I think you come down from Bath to here, and he potentially gets a decent run of games, and I think everyone improves. You get 2 or 3 games, or longer than that. You get some really good stints under your belt of game time, and I think that is what improves you as a player. You can train all you want, but go on,
Ruben Logan all the way through. Lovely offload as well. Scott Young over the line. Brilliant break. It was coming, was building. Saints did a lot of good work, got the right people in the right position. Ruben Logan opened the door, and then the offload to Scott Young, and he just did enough to get the ball over. It was a good score from the Saints, and again, more positivity, George Furbank, from the way that just able to turn it, just able to switch it and make it work.
Yeah, I think it's those little subtleties that we can bring into our game, little short tips. So it's not just one-out carriers, and that's what creates opportunities, gets you in little holes, gets you one-on-ones and front football, and then you can thrive off the back of that. And that's a great line from Rubes to create that opportunity.
One-out carriers. That brings me round to a topic.
Had a feeling that was going to come up.
You mentioned about tips. You mentioned about just playing those off balls, those little things. I get a feeling that's kind of just what England are missing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're missing. I think we've got some unbelievable ball carriers in England, really good players with some really good skill sets, and I just don't think we're using that to the best of our ability at the moment. And no matter how good a carrier you are, if you're running into 2 blokes the whole time, you're not going to go anywhere. I think if you watch teams like Ireland, they're the teams, like, yes, they could potentially win games running into brick walls all day because they've got really good players at 9 and 10 who can move around the field still, but they just add that little subtlety into the game and end up getting front football a lot of the time, and that's what creates those opportunities. And I think if England start doing that, then you can release the likes of Farrell, Tuolangi, Lawrence to cause havoc again. But I don't think we're doing that enough at the moment. We're not getting enough front foot ball, and that's why you see England kicking a lot of the ball away at the moment.
Saints on the halfway line. They get the ball down off the line out. Litchfield dying with the ball, gets it away. Hendy in there as well. Seabrook, Worley hauls him down. Parlin finds Cherry. Atuanya, again another man who's played a fair amount in Bedford Blues shirt already. Litchfield, tackle on him from Venter.
He missed the ball.
Hendy this time, small gap. Ethan Grayson pulls him down. Millie Mills with again another carry which allows his teammates to reform behind him. Grayson, Cruz, better tackles. Ball looks as though it's gone forward and the referee has spotted that. And yeah, it's the weather is going to get better, but it is still tricky handling wise, George Furbank.
Yeah, it is. It's tough to go through a lot of phases. It's probably not what you necessarily want to be doing in the middle of the field as well. So it's, can we potentially shift that ball to an edge? If not, can we go for a few phases, look for little kick spaces? They're pretty, like we saw earlier, they're pretty difficult to deal with when you stick the ball on the floor here. So after a few phases, you probably want to be looking to, unless there's opportunities to shift it or to get in some holes, and potentially looking for that ball in behind. But I think that's a really good D set from Bedford actually. They filled the field pretty well and pretty aggressive in contact.
That's the voice of George Furbank alongside me on Facebook and YouTube. I hope you're enjoying it. A decent crowd has made the journey to Goldington Road, and many of them did remember to pack an umbrella. Penalty at the scrum goes Bedford Blues' way. James Lennon with a quick tap. Grayson steps back up against his brother. Hasn't happened since the back garden in the late 90s, that.
And away!
Maisie. Curran. Adamson does well to grab that from behind him. Carry from Joe Howard. Places the ball back. Lennon. Ball over the top means that McParlin has to go back and catches with an easy mark, which will allow him to get going. I say late 90s, it's probably early 2000s, isn't it? I've just showed my age there. I just thought young people were in the late 90s. That would have been early 2000s, them Grayson boys playing around in the garden.
Yeah, they would have been.
God, I'm old.
He was James was born in 1998.
Oh,
so Ethan must be 2000.
Yeah, he's 21.
He's 21. Yeah.
Yeah, so a bit longer than that. Goodness me. All right, but aside from that, it must be. What must it be like? Lining up against your brother. I know this is a friendly match, doesn't really matter, but there must be. You saw there, Grayson. So he stepped back, and there must have been a part of him goes, "I wonder where he is. I wonder if I come up against him."
I mean, it's hard for me to speak. I've only got a sister, so I can't really imagine what that'd be like playing against her. But no, I think they both sort of love this. You should see them in training when they were training together, and they'd always have a little bit of niggle. So yeah, they're both incredibly competitive, and I'm sure if Ethan has the opportunity to go for James, or James has the opportunity to go for Ethan, they're going to take it.
Huge boot from Ethan Grayson. He's going to turn Baker, and Baker's going to watch this one bounce towards the touchline. He throws the ball back in field.
Wait! Don't move. Yeah, good.
Maisie scampers left, looking for Adamson. Adamson again, another kick, another twist. Baker again has kicked that down, and offside, says the referee. So penalty and a much easier exit here for Northampton Saints. I know you say you just have a sister, but you know what competition against a sibling is like, George. You must have had Christmas Trivial Pursuit where you go, hang on a second, I'm not having this. It's just a little bit different between siblings, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I've got quite a competitive family as well, so any sort of games, Christmas or birthdays, tend to end up in some sort of argument between me and my sister. And then I've got cousins my age as well, and I still remember we always used to go up and see my grandma together, me and my cousins, and we'd play games of Monopoly, and that Monopoly board more often than not was flipped at some point.
Yeah, and then you look at each other, don't you? The ones that aren't doing the flipping, they go, that's 1-0.
Yeah, exactly. You just tally them up.
There's another Grayson, isn't there? There's another brother hanging around. I think I saw him doing great things at the end of last season at Twickenham.
Sorry about that, lads.
Yeah, he was carving up for Owens at Twickenham. I saw those highlights. Everyone's comparing him to Damien Penno, so I think you'd definitely take that. Yeah, he's it's probably a very talented rugby family. Obviously starting with Paul and then the three of them are all pretty handy rugby players.
Ball is broken off. Cruz, trademark from him. Little step and go. George Cruz popped out, an explosive turn of speed, gets them into the 22.
Keep going.
I was desperate for him to score that, so the celebration came out.
And we will wait for that one. Hopefully it will come our way this afternoon. Litchfield pull back. Grayson, little delay through the gap on and up against Venter. Ball is trying to be pulled back by Northampton Saints. They've lost it, and the referee says knock on from Bedford in the first place, so they will come back again. Grayson, you see it, the speed of thought with which he makes the decision not to throw the pass. It's quite the skill. And a little word on James Grayson. I know you will be incredibly biased, but I feel as though he's been incredibly unlucky not to really kick on and get mentioned in some higher conversations. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I think he's an incredibly talented player. It's probably unfortunate that we've had some very talented 10s at the club for so long. Obviously with Stevie Myler, Biggs, and now Finn coming in as well. It's a pretty difficult spot to be in. I think he's obviously desperate to start and desperate to play more minutes than he has. But I think he's incredibly patient as well, and he's taken it very well, and he's always looking to improve. And I think his game comes on every single season, and to have someone like that as a backup at the moment is incredibly important.
Grayson again, lovely soft hands. Hendy's found, and he is unseated. Grayson manages to get to his man, and the ball pops free, and the Blues have it, and Lennon is trying to get hold of it, and he's taken a little bit of a knock himself, the Blues scrum half. And got himself caught up in a few things, but the knock-on will be adjudged, and they'll come back for the scrum.
This is the time where the lungs really start blowing. I think 32 minutes into the first half of your first game, I think the boys' legs and as lungs will be burning now.
You played on this slope, Furbs?
Yeah, I have one or two times. I think it's a lot bigger than you think it is. You can't really tell too much from up here, but as soon as you get down to pitch level, it's ridiculous. And running up, it's not too much fun.
Indeed. And we look over at the benches. Both benches looking to operate, I would have thought, today. Certainly, both 15s will be relatively keen to make sure that everyone gets a go. Extra big squads. Blues carrying 25 with them. Saints have got 27. Could well see everyone today.
Both really unstable.
Imagine too many people will be left out.
Really unstable. Let's go again, please.
How many is the Blue squad? How many numbers are in there?
About 26. It's not. And again, this is going to be. I was talking to Mike Ray beforehand. One of the challenges of the Premiership Cup is the fact that we can't really rely on a huge amount of Northampton Saints players to come and bolster that squad. And when you think that the Blues have got to go away to Newcastle and Sale, and they will be very physical games, you've got to make it through and hope no one gets injured out of your 25, 26.
Yeah, I mean it's tough enough at Saints when you've got 30 or so. Yeah, when it comes down to 26 and you've got 3 people just missing out every week, there's bound to be injuries. That's tough going.
Adamson kick over the top and get Saints back into their own half. Seabrook is going to try and search out that touchline. Maisie was loitering back there. He flings the ball across to Worley. He points first and foremost at Angus Scott Young to almost confuse him. And Worley is still going. He wasn't held, so he gets to go again, says the referee.
Second go.
Lennon finds Maisie. Grayson again. Kick through is not going to sit up, and Baker is going to return it with interest. Maisie has snuck back. And his left boot will probe again. And Glister has to watch that one go out on the full. Nice story, Will Glister, part of the Midlands Academy, and the Central Midlands Academy, of course, that were Wasps, and no place to go. And Northampton Saints came in for him and Ruben Logan, and some real pedigree out there. Glister He scored his first game for Saints at the end of last season. Did he go on the score sheet?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. You're right.
And good. Again, you talked about it earlier. These young players. Will Gloucester's a typical example of a potential that could go a long way in the game and will improve things for Saints.
Yeah, he's an incredible athlete to start off with. I think we did some speed the other day, and he ran a 10.6 metres per second. And I mean, a lot of people probably don't know what that is, but I don't know. The average probably is like a sort of 9.8. So he's one of the quickest in the squad. He's a very strong lad, and he's only 18. So. He's definitely got the frame and the athleticism for it, and now it's just about working on that skill set.
Blues are going to make it into the corner, and Tapley's going to get in again. And Pat Tapley does not put the ball down, and then skids a couple of extra yards infield to make the kick a little bit easier. Neat interplay again from Bedford Blues to get themselves back into this game, and Pat Tapley rounds things off. The Blues doing the very simple things very well.
Yeah, I think you give the ball to Matty Worley with a 2-on-2, and he's probably one of the most dangerous players in the Championship, and to give the ball in that position. So he's done incredibly well. He's incredibly quick, really good feet, gets on the outside and causes that outside defender to jump in and creates that sort of 2-on-1 on the end. So yeah, it's an exciting backline Bedford have got.
Yeah, most definitely. And the imprint, the modus operandi from Bedford Blues will always be try and get it to the wingers. That's why they like to come and play here. The chances of them getting the ball are strong, and Maisie will look to add an extra couple of points. Try and bend it in on the left, but he can't. It sails just wide, and unfortunately that means that it's still a 7-point gap. Bedford 12, Northampton 19. We're heading towards half time, and both teams at the moment have made a good account of themselves. Matty Arden, who's come on. Was it Henry Lavin? 22.
That's Matty Arden. I don't know where Grace is playing now, because he came on for Tom Litchfield.
Oh yeah, Grace looks as though he's in the back line. The Blues can't get the ball away. Saints are sniffing. McParlin. First run at it is repelled. Logan. McParlin again gets it on a plate. Arden. Just confirm exactly who's on the pitch here. That looks like Prowse wearing 18. Might need George's help to identify people here. Saints though tumbling towards that line. Quick ball might make it. Parlin, oh, slip. Knock on, says the referee. First one I think from Saints, then Blues. And they'll get a chance to clear their lines here. Let's just have a look at who can you see has come on. 19. Vukanovic.
Yeah, that's Theo, who was previously at Wasps.
He was indeed.
I think, so we've got Grace at 12, Hendy at 13, and then Ruben still at fullback.
Let's go then, boys.
Let's go. And it is Prowse wearing 18 that's come on in the front row, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Vukanovic has got the long hair on the back. It doesn't look dissimilar to Coles. It just made me think for a moment there, who might have come onto the pitch.
He's quite a good looking lad, so I think Coles will take that.
And then I've got myself into trouble. Scrum will go down. And they will have a reset. And this is the point the back's out.
Focus on the bind, please. Let's go. Quick reset, boys. Let's go.
We'll work out exactly what's going on.
It's up, lads. Good height. Crouch! Bind! Set! Stay high, stay high! Use it!
Ball does come away. Howard and Venter combine, and Venter wrestles himself an extra couple of yards. Gives Maisie a bit of space here to play, and Adamson's left boot is going to hoik it downfield. Saints come one way then the other. Seabrook is working hard in the storm. Bedford players come towards him and he batters a few of them away. Scott Young. Ball at the back, Arden. Logan combines with him.
It's really good game management from there, Archie. I think we've recognised we played quite a few phases in the middle of the park, and now look to set up a kick and win that ball back in the air.
Use it. Inside.
Parlin just pausing temporarily to get the ball and his feet in the right position, and he does. The kick is a little long. It'll be longer than he would have wanted. And Maisie's going to search out the touchline. He's not going to make it because McPartland has gone back. And here comes Baker. Finding holes. Baker, good hands, good awareness. Pollock trying to get his hands free.
Never on the ball. Don't use your hands. Good. Thank you.
Dangerous there from Baker. But Blues on the back foot. Matty Arden tries to find Grayson. Grayson is under pressure from Venter. Venter thought he had his hands on the ball at one stage. Now Hendy's going to try the soft shoe shuffle and comes up a little short. Grayson, there's a bit of space on the outside here. Arden, Grayson with some invention of his own, a little football sliding tackle to stop the ball being kicked through. Grayson is back on his feet and making a tackle as well there. Grayson,
Up we go.
all Graysons are busy at the moment. Prowse. Scott Young into the midfield, plays the ball between his feet. McParland has a nibble at it and misses it. And I think that'll be half time. It will be. The referee says, yeah, let's go in and have a cup of tea, slice of orange, and see how we go. George Furbank, how do you feel about that? Winners, losers, more to do?
I think it's a pretty entertaining first half of rugby, to be honest. In really difficult conditions, we wouldn't have had much of these conditions throughout pre-season, so handling the ball in this is tough, but I think that's a really entertaining first half. Both teams looking to try and go through phases and getting some really good outcomes off it.
Yeah, we'll have a look at perhaps some of the highlights that will run through in front of us. And we'll try and have a little word and a little look at them as they come through. But the half-time score at the moment is Bedford Blues 12, Northampton Saints 19. And if you can, stay with us and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, let's have a look at some of these replays. And it was actually the Blues who got off to a really good start with Pat Tapley in the corner, and exactly what they would have wanted, how they would have wanted to start, George Furbank.
Yeah, it was a really good start from them. They went through sort of 8-9 phases down in the 22, looked after the ball really well, and then it's a pretty good finish from one of the best finishers in the championship.
James Leonard, every scrum half looks better with quick ball, and then just dipped his shoulder to make sure it happened in the corner. And then Saints responded, and you were pleased, George, with the way that they held themselves together and worked themselves through this.
It was a very similar try to Bedford's actually. Again, went through a few phases in that 22, looked after the ball really well, bossed around nicely by Grace, who then provides the pass over the top for Hendy to go in the corner.
You spoke about him at length, George Hendy, and the more you seem to speak about him, the more he seemed to do well. You think about agency work. Have you got a bit of a percentage coming off this?
I should really, shouldn't I? I think that just shows the talent that he has, and he's an incredibly exciting player. Yeah,
this was his second try, a bit of a pick into the pocket of Matt Worley, who couldn't quite get hold of the ball, but Hendy could, and he slid home for glory. And Saints at this stage looked as though they were in good form at the moment.
Yeah, he just stole it from Matty, and pretty instinctive work, and from Hendy to go and finish in the corner.
Another. This was the third try, and another good build-up and good opportunity taken from Saints. You were pleased. What sort of things will be said at half-time for the Saints at the moment, George? Do you reckon?
Well, I think we're probably going to see quite a few changes, and we have done already in that first half, but probably even more in the second. So it's just about doing the basics as well as we can, get into our shape as best we can, and then probably that ball retention, looking to not play too many phases in the middle of that pitch, and looking after the ball when we do have it.
Angus Scott Young with a third try for Northampton Saints. Good interplay, Ruben Logan just before, and then you mentioned Matt Worley making up for it a little bit with a good interplay and good 2-on-1 benefit for Pat Tapley's second.
Yeah, like I said, he's so dangerous in those 2-on-2 situations, and you got Siebes opposite him, who's a really good defender, and manages to just stand up Siebes and get on the outside, which causes the outside guy to jump in, creating that 2-on-1. So, like I said, you won't want many other people to have the ball in his hand in those situations than Matty.
Right, we'll have a break, we'll have a cup of tea, hopefully. I don't know, she'll put the message out, see if one comes up.
That'd be lovely.
Fantastic. George joined myself and George Furbank for the second half here at Goldington Road. Until then, look after yourself.
final birthday next week. Happy 65th birthday on Tuesday, the Royals, for Peter Woodard.
We're back out for the second half. Goldington Road, welcome back. You join us on YouTube or Facebook, kitchens, living rooms across the area. Northamptonshire, Bedfordshire, and maybe even further afield than that. There's a few fans on the other side of the world for both of these clubs. And always nice to bring you a little bit of rugby just before potentially the big show gets underway. I'm alongside George Furbank, and we're just casting our eye across the pitch to see who's on and who's not, and we'll bring you some news of a few changes. It looks as though there are a few people with no numbers on their back, which is always good, George. You'll enjoy this when they come on without any numbers on their back and you don't know who they are.
I'd like to think I know my team pretty well. So
well, yeah, you do.
I think I'll be all right.
I was going to quiz question you about Bedford Blues, put you on the spot. Never mind. Alex Day is on the pitch and playing at 9 for Bedford Blues, and he kicks it downfield. Good chase, good tackle. Ball is loose. Garside, I think, is up against Alex Day for this half. That should be quite interesting. Garside is actually on the wing because McPartland is still on.
No, leave it. Back alongside. Just use it, please.
Kick downfield. Gathered by Matt Worley. Huge kick which McPartland is going to watch bounce into his own 22. Oh, a little chip through. Thinks he sees a little bit of a gap. Maisie's read the play, and Worley hits a line. Just about gets away from the first tackle and not the second. Now the ball is slung over on that right hand side, and Jordan Venter is going to try and foxtrot his way back in field. Day. Association Heffernan, I think, is on as well. Joe Howard. Curran frees the arms. Adamson snake hips in action there. Day. Nice offloading. Jacob Fields puts his head down. Makes a little extra yard or two. Adamson plays conduit. Heffernan. Decent work over the top there. Great pickpocketing by Pollock. Easy for me to say. Saints have the ball back. Scott Young still on the field, working hard. The Australian, capped many times in Super Rugby. Also played for Bay of Plenty, Angus Scott Young. I've got another question for you, George Furbank.
There's another fact, is it?
Well, who was the last player to make a real impact at both Northampton Saints first, and then came and played for Bedford for a long time? He played at Bay of Plenty. Do you know? Does your memory go back that far? He was an enforcer. I'll give you a clue. And his son played.
Oh, that'll be Paul Tupai.
It is Paul Tupai. Good boy. Bay of Plenty legend.
His son Connor's actually, they just won the Shoot Shield today with Ramwick. He's over in Australia and Sydney.
There you go. You see, I knew you'd be able to bring it back. There you go. Linking it all together, as are Bedford Blues, up to the 22. Little stab through from Alex Day. Tries to regather it. Saints come across the ball. But Bedford have got the penalty.
It's just been proving quite hard to exit at the moment for Saints. I think there must be a bit of a breeze, and playing uphill and just found it quite hard to exit at the moment, and that's creating some pressure.
Maisie kicks the ball into that corner. No hesitation from him. Definitely want to continue to apply the pressure. Jacob Fields with the line out. Alford does well to stretch and get it. Just about grabs it with his fingertips. Down it comes. Rolling maul, which was quite effective for Bedford Blues last year. This will be examination for the Saints. Get the bodies in the right position. Fields has his hands on the ball. It gets a second momentary push. Well, they've swung it round, Saints, and stopped it. And it's going forward. But on the floor, and Saints will get the ball back. Well, dicey there from Saints.
Yeah, I think the forwards will be pretty happy with that. It's been a real big focus of theirs, is the set piece in pre-season, and just improving in that area, and that's pretty resilient and good work from the forward pack.
Let's talk briefly about Prem Cup and the fact that both these sides have got different matches coming up. Well, actually, I'll tell you what, Saints have got Barbarians soon. That's a lovely fixture to have, isn't it? Up against the Barbars. Always good to have them at Franklin's Gardens.
Yeah, we had them. We played them last season. Obviously, Luther Burrell and Tom Wood's final game. So that was a hell of an occasion. And then we got them again next Saturday. So yeah, it'll be another exciting game.
And you've got Ealing and Cambridge and Bristol and Bath and Donny. You've got a lot of games to look forward to in the Prem Cup.
Yeah, I know. I think there's it's not a break now for us until the middle of February. So we got 5 games in the Prem Cup to look forward to, and then back to back Premiership games. So it's definitely gonna be a whole squad effort.
Indeed. Pollock comes forward. Trademark carry from Henry Pollock. He is rambunctious, a young man. As George Furbank was mentioning a little bit earlier. Not as big as they come, but he packs a huge punch into the corner. It's a beautiful kick, which unfortunately can only be watched by Tom Seabrook. Goes over the line, and he resignedly has to then defend again. This line out close to their own line, Northampton Saints.
Yeah, they're just piling on the pressure at the moment, Bedford. I think they're doing really well off the back of Saints exiting, and it's another really good kick from Matty Worley to pin Saints back and force them to exit again.
You need to make it clearer, please.
And just to tie up that Premiership Cup competition chat, Coldy, Ampthill, Sale, Falcons and Leicester in Bedford's group. So some good games to look forward to for Bedford Blues.
Yeah, some fun away trips in there, Sale and Newcastle as well, isn't there? But if you can get a win up in Newcastle, that'll be. I'm sure the Bedford boys will be making the most of that night.
I think Newcastle will be the place to be if that was to happen.
No, you're from the side.
I like the idea of the Premiership Cup. I know you're fond of the idea of bringing the Championship clubs into it. It's what it needed, isn't it?
I think it's exactly what it needed. Just added a little bit of another dimension to the competition. When it's just Prem teams playing against Prem teams, you play against these teams the whole time. So for Championship teams, obviously it's really big coming up and playing against the Premiership teams, but also for the Premiership teams, it's a change of fixture to you'd be playing teams you'd never played before, and that adds another bit of excitement as well.
And just talk, because I suppose it, but confirm it for me. You know, as a player, do you enjoy these visits to different parts of the world, to different grounds? Please. You know, a lot of Leicester players perhaps might not have been to Goldington Road. They're good places to go in the Championship, aren't they? I mean, there are some places that perhaps aren't difficult to go to, but generally speaking, it's good. You look forward to it, don't you?
Yeah, you do. Like you said, there's some places that I think you'd be quite excited to go to. Others, maybe not so. But no, I think, like you said, it's a change of scenery. It's a team you've never played against before. So.
Bedford have gone over. Pushed all the way through. And who comes up with the ball? Who's the last one on their feet? Is it Jacob Fields? I think it might be. Good score for the Blues.
I think that's just the pressure telling there. They've exited 3 or 4 times and found themselves back in the 22 of Saints. So really good pressure from the Blues, and ultimately that's told.
Yeah, and it will. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. As regards the driving, rolling maul. I think it was Jacob Fields who came up with the ball. I'm not sure exactly who's been credited with it, but
he seemed to be getting the plaudits from his teammates, so we'll give it to him. How about that?
Indeed we will. And Louis Grimaldi's got the kicking on us. The yellow boots of his splice the uprights.
There's Craig Wright trying to charge down the kick. He's a hooker. Well, he's playing back row at the moment, I think, and he's probably one of the quickest men in our team.
There you go. It's you've got some good prospects coming through at the Saints. Ball is gathered and held on. Alex Day is going to release his back line. Conway, long pass over the top. Maisie playing 12. It's been charged down red by George Hendy. Ball eventually makes its way all the way through. And now Matty Arden's going to try and return it with interest. Fricker, the blonde-haired former Bristol Bears man, on the field and into the action. Cherry with a bustling run. McPartland, quick ball, nice over the top, lovely from Pollock. Exchange down this near side. Knocked on by Prowse, and I think into the Bedford player, and it will come back Bedford's way. And Joey Conway applauds the moment. It is 19-all, and a good game in front of us. This is Isaiah Moraino on this near side.
It is, yeah. He's at Loughborough at the moment. I think he's going into his second year now at Loughborough, and he's been with us for the last week and a half or so.
I remember was it London Irish, I think. Might have been.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he played football up until the age of sort of 14. I can't remember which academy he told me, but one of the academies. So he's a pretty talented footballer, and then started playing rugby. He's obviously quite a talented rugby player as well.
Yeah, useful on five-a-side nights, I'm sure. Do you ever do that? Do you ever have a little five-a-side breakout with the Saints?
We actually played quite a lot in off-season this year. There's a place called Goals, which is like a little five-a-side place in Northampton, and there was quite a few get-togethers. As you can imagine, that was quite competitive. There's some indifferent footballers. Well, we've got Tom Collins was playing quite a bit, and he's obviously a very good footballer. There were a few good footballers actually, and then the likes of Paul Hill, Ocean Heffernan, those boys.
What do they bring? What do they bring? Sort of
a number. They make it five-a-side. That's what they do.
I thought you were going to say something nice about the front row then. Alex Day feeds this scrum, and he will release his back line. Grimolby across the line to Maisie, and almost taken there. I think Sean French will not be thankful for Matt Worley throwing that such a difficult pass as one of the first opportunities he gets in this second half. Sean French, prodigious try scoring last season, 27 games, 20 tries. Enjoyed himself, we can probably say. Onto the field comes Luke Frost and Cam King as well for Bedford.
Yeah, nice test of the hammies there for the first touch. I saw quite a few highlights of the Bedford games last year, and he looked a real threat for Bedford.
Yeah, one of a few Irishmen now making themselves very much at home in Bedford. Munster, I know, still keeping an eye on the exploits of Sean French and Joey Conway. I spoke to a few Irish broadcasters and journalists. Joey Conway just making a little bit of a name for himself. Saints are going to wrestle this one to the floor. Ball is just about on the floor, and the referee's going to let this one go.
Use it.
Atuanya, unfortunate with the spill. Ball across. Worley hits it at pace. So does Adamson. Adamson through the gap. Adamson over the top. How does this ball bounce? It's Garside with him. Oh, and I think he's knocked it on, but they're going to run from the back, and Seabrook is on his bike. Huge attempted hit on him by Sean French.
No contest.
Seabrook bounces him out the way.
Use it.
Yeah, Garside spoilt the Adamson party there.
That was trademark Adamson, wasn't that? Running down the wing, little chip over the top. Expected him to score, but Jakey Garside has worked his socks off to get back, and he's pretty rapid as well.
He is incredibly rapid, and a real favourite here at Bedford Blues as well, as is this man, Matt Worley. Matt Worley needs to go the other way. Alex Day comes in to try and rescue, try and clear the ruck. Ball is on if it goes out on the left-hand side, or the pass is terrible. Adamson now releases Maisie. Atuanya with a good tackle. Walford, good interplay. Nice tip tackling. Venter crawls his way towards that line. Frost is involved. Twisting and turning. He's going to be held up, I think. He is. Good passage of play. The sun is out, and all of a sudden this game is starting to get a bit easier and a bit more enjoyable with nice knock-on, tip-ons and offloads, and the game is starting to stretch, George Furbank, and it's enjoyable. It's pleasing on the eye.
It is. I think that just shows the danger of Bedford's back three there. A couple of counter-attack opportunities and made the most of it. We've mentioned Matty Worley a few times already. He's incredibly dangerous. You got Dean running down the wing and doing things that Dean does, and Sean on the other wing, causing a bit of havoc as well. So yes, it's like you said, the sun comes out and Bedford come alive.
Indeed, a little bit of attention being paid to a couple of players. Ian Adamson is back on his feet. I think he's just about patched himself together. There will be words exchanged by him and Garside about that little moment a bit earlier.
Number 1.
And actually the penalty has gone Bedford's way. It won't be quickly taken because there's medics on the field. I didn't see who was down on the floor, did you, George?
I think it might be Luke Green.
Yes, it
Luke
is.
Greeny down on the floor, so hopefully it's not too bad for him.
Yeah, just taking his time. Medics are with him. It's a lower leg, maybe an ankle. He'll gingerly make his way to back to his feet. The loose head. Garside is now going to change into scrum half, but Parland is making his way off on the far side. So Garside will get a go up against Day.
George Patton coming on there for Luke Green as well. Used to be a fly half, did George Patton.
I
And
understand that.
now he's playing front row.
Yeah, you see, that is
Not a move many make, really.
No, I think I saw him play number 8, so he's obviously made the move gradually. He hasn't gone straight there.
Well, it takes time to go from looking like a 10 to looking like a front row, doesn't it?
I don't know, I made it look easy.
Set.
Alex Day feeds this scrum. It's a good scrum from the Blues. The referee's interested with the penalty. Day pauses temporarily. Cam King is going to try and wrestle the ball free. Oh, hello. Lock forward, looking to lose the keys to the lock forward house if he kicks like that again.
You want to scrum again? Standing up under pressure. Want another scrum?
Joey Conway's just coming in to have a little word, and that might be a scrum, another scrum for Bedford to apply some pressure. They've got Jordan on a Jafe as well as Alex Wolford into the second row, and that's an experienced second row. It's a big second row, and it might be driving a large amount of power through this front row, allowing a little bit of ascendancy at scrum time. Let's see how they go here. It's a relatively young pack for Northampton Saints, and they'll be tested here.
Crouch.
Heffernan and Conway.
Bind. Set.
Day sprinkles into midfield. Oh, super handsome Maisie to get that ball away. Venter, this is quick, this could work. Worley stepping, going. Oh, it's beautiful from Bedford Blues. It's a very nice try, all done with alacrity and pace, George Furbank. You can do a lot in the game of rugby if you do it quickly.
Yeah, that's it. It's a penalty advantage to start off with, so really good work from the pack, and that allows you a free shot for the backs. And they shifted it nicely, and Matty Worley with some really naughty feet to score that try.
Yeah, really, really well taken. And looking at the Blues side at the moment, it starts to shape up as a few more what you potentially would refer to as first teamers on the pitch, and the dominance at set piece making pay. And Saints have got their work cut out here. Young Saints side, that was really nice. Venter and the combination from Maisie as well to get that speed which Day can work with. Grimold be accurate, and Worley sneaking through the patio doors. Over on that far side, Louis Grimold be kicking in front of the Borough. Beautiful place to have a burger and chips in the Borough, just in case you were wondering, George.
I've actually had one from there before, I think.
And?
Yeah, tasty.
There we go.
Yeah,
Thank goodness. I thought it was going to be a bad review.
I'm not on one today. We went to Chicken George before, which is just down the road, so I'm still pretty full from that.
We can't do that without mentioning there are other chicken places in Bedford, but Chicken George is very good. Arden kicks the ball deep. Blues have got it, and a little bit of opportunity for Cam King here, down at London Scottish last season, and impressive in his outings against Bedford Blues, and Blues came a-calling. Well, that's been ripped by Vukasinovic, and Hendy is going to take the fight to his one-time teammates. And the ball is going to creep into the hands of Saints once more, and they're going to go up towards this line.
From the knock.
And Hendy's going to spring it wide. Oh, he misses everyone. And a little bit of interplay there from Jake Garside. Adamson gets flattened by the 5-foot. And hello, there is a ball there. That is through to
Could be
Sean
one of the
French.
best assists.
Oh! Brilliantly picked up by Fricker, who was very brave to throw himself in the way of Sean French there.
That was Messi-esque, that was. The crossfield diagonal through ball.
It's an absolute trick. I wonder if we can get this on replay, because this was absolutely superb. It was Jack Arthur who spotted the gap.
There's no way he meant this.
Hold on, does he?
Maybe he does.
He does, his eyes are up.
He does look for it, to be fair.
Oh, if that had worked. Would have been perfect. We were talking about five-a-side a little bit earlier. What a diagonal. Right, never mind. Saints just outside the Blues 10-metre line. Vukusinovic goes up and comes down with the ball. Top of the tree. Good work from the tall lad.
No.
As George said in the first half, formerly of Wasps. Opportunity here to play for Saints and make a good account of himself. Garside. Arden. I think that's Baker as well. Cherry's going to wrestle his way and place the ball back. It wasn't Cherry, my mistake. So better from Saint. Oh, look forward. Hendy won't care. Will go through the gap. Hendy on the inside. Oh, the referee spotted it. It was a bit too obvious, that one. Hendy having to reach out wide. Is at 17. Yeah, I've got Craig White as number listed as Craig Wright as 17.
That's George Patton.
And it's George Patton. You see, this is where I'm getting confused. My numbering not quite working out. Craig Wright's not got a number on his back, has he?
No, he's not. I think he's playing in. Oh no, he's playing a hooker. He's playing a hooker. So he's going to play a back row.
Fellas, 11 and 15 replacement.
Craig
11
Wright,
and
I
15.
think out of Felsted, if I'm not mistaken. Felsted School. Am I right?
Don't know the answer to that question, I'm afraid.
Okay, never mind. Good school though. Felsted producing some good quality. A few changes.
Hutch went actually.
There you go. You see.
Well, he claims he went to Felsted and then went to college for sixth form. I'm not sure where he didn't get the grades or what, but
Rory Hutch is not here to defend himself.
Don't worry, he gets plenty of chat for that anyway.
Alex Day is going to peer into this scrum and go blind side, and Sean French is going to juggle with the ball, and Toby Fricker hits him as he just about grapples with it. Cam King goes into scrum half. Jack Arthur, fresh from his exploits of crossfield balls, is wrestling with it on the floor. Cam King is looking for a little bit of a gap.
You're fine.
Cam King's dad, I think, owns King of Shaves. Do you know King of Shaves? No,
Not sure.
Shaving company.
I could have guessed that.
Yeah, thanks. No, well, I thought you might have seen their stuff. No, anyway, that's all I know about him. That's all I've got. Other than he looked a very tidy player for London Scottish last year.
He's had a few good impacts so far on the field for Bedford as well.
Yeah, he's very tidy operator. Into the corner, Bedford go. Looking to add to their credentials in this second half. Saints are going to have to organise themselves well. Day off the top, beautiful Venter, straight running. Saints combined to deal with him. Day slightly slower than potentially wanted to. Conway, who scored an absolute pearler last weekend against Swansea.
Tackle, lads, release.
Knee is on the floor, he's allowed to go down to it. Robin Williams.
Away, 20. Well
Scrum cap comes flying off. Jordan Honor-Jafe is found on a flat line. Jacob Fields, we think one of the try scorers earlier in the game for Bedford. Day again, Grimolby.
Forward pass.
Bedford repelled. Knock-ons, or forward pass, says the referee.
That's a really good D-set from Saints there. They've had a few times where Bedford have been piling on the pressure, and they'll look to exit now, but that's a much better D-set, winning collisions and not allowing Bedford quick ball, which they thrive on.
How much is defence about getting used to patterns, getting used to each other, communication? I mean, it's not just about putting bodies in the right place. It's a bit more than that, isn't it? And so much of it is out on the field rather than out on the training paddock. Yeah,
exactly. I think you can practice it all you want, but ultimately the only real practice is in games. And obviously we've got a new defence coach this year, so it's about implementing what he wants to bring. He's got a rugby league background, so definitely brings a lot of physicality, and he's still learning sort of rugby union a little bit, so other coaches are helping him out. We're trying to help him out with backfield stuff, but he's brought a lot of energy and some really good stuff to our D so far.
Garside will spring on the right hand side for Saints. Litchfield will take on Maisie, does well to free his arms. Noah Iono just about gets pulled to the floor. Ball is lost, and Cam King has it and tries to get back to his feet. He does that. Jack Arthur. Good work from Coulson.
Ball's there. Advantage over from the knock.
This is Howard back on the field. Interchanges for the sides tonight. So players going off and then coming back on. Cam King again frees up the arms. Dean Adamson wrestles his way to the floor. Or Iono with the good tackle. Ocean Heffernan, either side expert. Oh, Grimaldi. Relatively simple catch, and unfortunately Saints have got it, and it's a bit of turnover, and maybe they'll fancy their chances from here. Excellent break, little bit of exchange here. Prowse gets involved. Tackle from Luke Frost. Garside, got to nail him down. Jake Garside. Garside spinning, finding the offload, and through goes Pollock. Pollock with the score, but made by the inventiveness and the incredibly twirly-whirly, I think I'm going to call that, running style of Jake Garside. He is very, very difficult to stop.
He's so elusive. The thing about him as well, he's obviously got very good feet, quick, but he's really strong as well. And that sort of allows him to get that little half break, and then he uses acceleration to get away, and he's done that a lot for Bedford last season, setting up multiple tries, and he's done that there for Saints. He's an electric player.
I think that's the thing about it, isn't it? You know, Bedford more than anyone knew what was going to unfold there. They knew exactly what was going to happen, and if they didn't nail him down, he was going to get away.
Exactly, they knew what was going to happen and still couldn't stop him. So wait till he comes up against teams who don't know what's going to happen.
Indeed, Garside again, but presence of mind to find Pollock, and a little bit of a show there from Pollock's pace. It didn't quite show, but he is incredibly quick. I hope we do, as the season unfolds, both for Saints and for Bedford maybe, just get a look at Henry Pollock, give him half a yard, and he just defies belief with his pace. So good score from him.
I think that's a sign of his engine as well, to be honest. He's just always in and around that ball, and gets on the back of that one, but he just seems to be everywhere.
Matty Arden has made a fist of that conversion attempt. The ball fell over. The Blues players were complaining about the fact that maybe he'd started his run-up, but it being a friendly, he was allowed to give it a go, and promptly then skewed it wide.
He's probably not used to these conditions as well. He's been down in Sydney playing for Randwick for the Colts down there, and he's probably been playing in 25-30 degrees and sunshine the whole time.
More changes for the Blues. We'll try and get the names right as and when they occur. Good take by Toby Fricker out on that left-hand touchline. More, over the ball. Does well again to present good quick ball here. Grayson thinks about the offload from the floor, then thinks better of it, and unfortunately isolated there, Litchfield.
That's fine, nothing wrong with that. Just keep an eye on that, boys. Keep an eye.
Saints have still got it. Grayson has done well to create a bit of extra overlap, an extra man. Fricker's got some pace. And Craig Wright does not have the hands to deal with the ball. It was shuffled onto him.
That's a shame. That's a really good exit. Something a little bit different from what we tried earlier in the second half. Just to look to shift that ball and catch Bedford going wide. A really good exit. It's just unfortunate that Craig can catch it. I'd love to see him charging down the wing. His nickname is Turbo Pig. I think partly because he looks a bit like a warthog and he's very quick.
Yeah, rugby nicknames don't often need a huge amount of explaining. Turbo Pig. Okay.
The simpler the better sometimes.
Rather you than me.
That's right, no worries, let's go.
Bedford is just in front. Not that the scoreline means a huge amount today, but neither sides will be thinking about winning or losing. It's a lot about joining it all up and the performance and making combinations work. Getting used to each other, most certainly.
Set!
Awkward one for Day and King to try and deal with, but they do eventually. Grimaldi is snuck behind. And Pat Tapley has missed that one first through and then just tries to get the handoff in. Does well. Cam King on a different line. There we go from Cam King, and you can see what he brings. Just bursting through that first tackle, then the offload to Frost. Grimaldi behind the line to Maisie. Maisie to Grayson. Grayson the outside arc. Grayson still going, and he's lost the ball. And Fricker will get a chance to run it out of his own 22, although he is hounded down and
knock on advantage, White.
Hauled down. And Garside will have to build again. All across and on the floor from Grayson. A little bit of spot there. Oh, neat little play from him to do the exit. An unusual one there from Grayson. The kick pass working an absolute treat. They'll make a little bit of extra yardage perhaps than from in hand, but clever stuff.
Line's yours, boys.
And this game ebbing towards the last 10 minutes or so. Line out stolen by Northampton. Referee says play on. No, he doesn't. Knock on.
Lost forward and then offside.
Knock on and then offside. Always a tough one. There are various oddities and laws in the game of rugby, but I do find that one ever so tough. A penalty for picking the ball up, being in front of the player who's knocked it on. It's one of, I just don't know how you don't react to a ball. You must have been in that situation. It's so difficult not to react. Perhaps you can condition yourself to do it, but it is tricky.
My frustrations are the ones where it's obvious. I think you can penalise. It's just. It's the one where it's competitive in the air, for example, and you're not really sure who's touched it, and then you play it, and they'll see on a slow motion replay that it was your team, and like how you meant to leave the ball in that situation, I don't know.
I can understand a free kick being given sometimes, but maybe not a penalty. But anyway, we can't do anything about the laws of the game from here. George, we'll have to see what we can do.
Love to be able to.
And there's a penalty for not releasing to Northampton Saints. They've got a better way to clear their lines from here.
Don't get me started on the tackle laws that's going on in the junior age group stuff.
Yeah, I didn't want to go into that area, but it is quite a pickle. We'll have to see how it goes. I think the next couple of years for rugby union will be very interesting, and if it can navigate its way through, it could be better off.
It's got a long way to go, but hopefully the right people can do the right things and let them start improving.
Vukasinovic, lovely take off the top there. Garside gets a bit of time to play with it. Arden throws the ball in front of everyone, but it might work. It does, because it gets all the way out to Fricker. Garside goes short side. There are a few numbers here. It's Litchfield back on the field, and can he make his way into the Bedford half?
You've run into him as well.
Arden again misses the player. And Grayson with a little hitch kick to try and keep people interested. Or Iono finds an inside line. Second tackler is Cullen, who gets his man down. Curran again in there trying to make it work, and actually the penalty goes against the player who was tackled for rolling on the floor and making improvements to where the ball was lying.
7's over the ball, 20.
And so Bedford will get a penalty here. Grimaldi will line up the sideline. It's not going to go. Back goes Baker. And Baker will try and return this with interest. He didn't think about kicking it. It's a friendly, for goodness sake. We'll play with the ball in hand. Carside's pass is well picked out by Prowse. Carside again. Arden. Short ball to Litchfield. Litchfield is met by a couple of Blues players. Manages to get the ball away. Out on this left-hand side is Wright, who combines well with Fricker. They're going to come all the way back, though, says the referee. Earlier infringement.
Needs to be really careful.
Well, we're heading towards the last 5 minutes or so of this match, George Furbank. I'm going to ask you to do it on both sides. Who's caught your eye? Let's start with Bedford first. Who's caught your eye from a Bedford point of view?
I think Matty Worley has been very good, and I think Will Maisie's controlled it really well. Like, you can tell, sort of, Will's a class player, and he's played to a really good level. So those two are probably standouts for me there. And on the Saints side, I think Jimmy Grace again has controlled things pretty well. Henry Pollock has just been everywhere and got us on the front foot multiple times, and also got a couple of turnovers. So those two are probably standouts Saints wise.
Arden fumbles the ball in the midfield. Bedford will get a chance to counter-attack. Maisie, lovely ball, invitingly so. Able to run onto it. Coulson doing just that. Jacob Fields puts his head down, makes an extra couple of yards. Alex Day waits for the ball. Through Saints come. Illegally so, says the referee. He sends them back. Maisie, flat ball to Cam King.
Second go.
Day goes right. Frost, two men try and upend him.
You're fine.
Referee says not
he allows
rolling
you
away.
to get to the ball.
I think it's actually been a very good quality game, to be honest, for the first game for both teams. Is it first game for Bedford as well?
No, they played Swansea last weekend, so they have had a little run at it.
Yeah, well, I think it's been a good quality game and pretty entertaining to watch for a first game out, especially considering the conditions. Thought it might be a bit scrappy, but I mean Bedford against Saints always tends to deliver. Yeah,
it does, and the MO has been present. The eyes up, heads up, sort of rugby. The want to get, into the opposition's other half. It's eye-catching, and certainly what brings the fans back. Saints have a fantastic following. Blues in their own right in the Championship have a fantastic following, and you can see why.
Yeah, exactly. I think for both teams it's very simple in terms of, okay, what's the best way to move the ball up the field, and if that's on your own try line, if it's to run more than kick, then both teams have got the licence to do it, which is what makes it so exciting.
Behind it comes Grimaldi and Maisie combined. Sean French, an outrageous dummy in the midfield, buys him a little bit of time. Day, short line from Cam King, I think. Day again. Frost through the gap, crawling towards the line. He gets there, says the referee. Allowed to reposition himself once he'd made the inroad. And over the line he goes. And Frost again benefiting from the speed of ball with which Alex Day was able to operate. And certainly the proficiency with which they're able to get the ball in hand at the moment, just showing that Bedford Blues are in front.
I think Frosty's another real talent that Bedford have. He's an absolute grafter, really good ball carrier, and hits pretty hard as well. So he'll be hopefully he stays fit all season and gets a really good run again for Bedford.
I think that little line there you said, hopefully stays fit. It is going to be crucial for this Bedford Blues side, as it is with many of the rugby sides around the world. But over the next few weeks, we spoke about it in the first half, just keeping players on the pitch is going to be crucial. And Frost did it exceptionally well. Played a lot of rugby in the last 2 years, Luke Frost, for Bedford Blues. Almost ever present We lost a bit of ballast in our second row with Jordan on a Jafe out for a long period, Alex Wolford out for a long period. Can make the difference. Can make a season, of course, an injury or two.
2 from each, fellas.
Saints with a quick throw in.
Yeah, it is.
Not going to work.
It is a white ball, but there's 2 each, fellas. It's much. So it's a white ball, white line.
Little word on rugby coming away.
Soft ball.
I'm sure you will be scurrying away, George, to potentially try and find a bit of England, Fiji. Let's talk about Sam Matavesi. That's a nice moment for him, and Fiji could be interesting this World Cup, couldn't they?
I mean, they've definitely got the players to cause a few upsets. So you look at just their backline, it's probably one of the most exciting in world rugby. So I'd love to see them go well at the World Cup, to be honest. I think they probably, considering the players they have, they've probably underperformed in their World Cups previously. So, I mean, I'm really hoping they go well and see the likes of Sam. And then obviously we've got Timo, who's joining the club as well.
Spiral bomb has been sent downfield, and this could go all the way if it's not careful. It might just hold itself up. It does, even before the line. Fricker has to grab it and go. Baker stops and checks and then brings in Grayson. Grayson has a defensive line in front of him to try and find his way through. Grimold brings him down. They will clear themselves up to about the 10-metre line. And good chase there. World Cup in general, come on, it's a really difficult, it is open at the moment. I'm not just saying that, it's a difficult one to call. Last night South Africa suddenly stood up and started talking for themselves, and many people will see them as potentially winners, but you don't know where it comes from, do you?
You got no idea. No, and they tend to perform at World Cups, don't they? So obviously one side of the group is a lot harder than the other one, so there's going to be a few upsets and a few big teams dropping out the World Cup pretty early. I'd like to say probably, I mean, South Africa and France are probably the 2 favourites to go and win. Obviously I want England to do well, and England would be my first choice to win, but I think it would be pretty cool for a World Cup at home in France for them to win it as well.
Where do you stand on Ireland and the Irish? I mean, they've been playing so well in the last couple of years.
They've been absolutely on fire, and it's again whether they can deliver in a World Cup. I mean, they deliver under pressure in Six Nations and Autumn Nations and stuff, but I guess World Cup's a different sort of pressure, and they probably haven't done as well as they thought they wanted to do for the last few World Cups. So we'll see how they go on.
Pat Tapley, just about on. Coulson was screaming for it. He made the initial inroad, and I think the referee's going to quell that fire and blow time on proceedings. Ed Coulson is screaming and saying, come on, I thought we could have had a penalty there, but no. The referee says, no, this is a friendly. Let's leave it as it is. Bedford do win. The scoreline potentially not in a friendly, not maybe the main focus, but certainly some good rugby played by both sides. And Bedford at the moment looking in good form as they head into their Premiership Cup campaign, should I say. And Northampton Saints, of course, ahead of a long period in front of them as well. A good run out for them. George Furbank, a final word from you. Good on both sides. Things to work on from both sides, but a pleasing game of rugby.
Yeah, really pleasing game of rugby. Like you said, things to work on, but there's always going to be after the first game. There's a little bit of rust to get out there, a little bit of time to put on the field. We've been practicing a few new things in pre-season, so it's going to take a few games to get into it. Obviously, you want to start off with a win and start ideally building that winning culture, but not to be today. And Bedford played pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. Handshakes all round, and a lot of these players will be seeing a lot of each other throughout this season. But the full-time score from Goldington Road is Bedford Blues 33, the Northampton Saints 24. We wish Northampton Saints all the very best for their very busy season in front of them. And I hope if you're a Bedford Blues fan, Goldington Road is a place that you can come and visit over the next 12 months or so. We'd certainly be very pleased to see you. We'll run through some of the highlights from this second half. And Bedford Blues got us going with a little bit of a rolling maul. I think it's Jacob Fields who ends up at the bottom of all of this. Very difficult to see. Rolling maul did become a little feature of the game with Bedford Blues last season. A little bit of a close-up of it there. Difficult to see exactly what's going on. Referee was happy though, which was the main thing. And then really good hands, George Furbank. Bedford just starting to sparkle when the sun came out.
Yeah, I've not got too many comments on the first try. It's not my area of expertise. So, this is a bit more, and yeah, Bedford shift it really nicely, and it's a great finish by Matty.
Yeah, certainly, and quick ball will be Bedford's friend, you would have thought, as the championship wears on. Thing that can stay dry, and interplay like that can happen. A lot of sides, whoever you are, whether you're Ealing or Richmond, whoever you are coming to Goldington Road, you will fear it. Certainly Northampton Saints struck back, and again almost catching, wasn't it, this sort of interplay, and just a little chance here for Jake Garside. Half a gap and he's through it.
Yeah, we mentioned him being electric, and I think this highlight here just shows that. He's so strong and quick, and Pollock then is just on his shoulder. Hell of an engine on the lad, so yeah, it's a great finish from them. Indeed.
Look at him twisting and turning, and the Bedford Blues defensive line knew exactly what was going to happen. Could do very, very little about it. I think there's a couple more scores here from Bedford Blues. Reaching for it. It's the last one from Luke Frost, I think. A good angle of attack from the big man, tumbling through and allowed to reposition himself and reach for that line. Well, it's been good. George Furbank, have you enjoyed it?
Loved it, yeah. Thank you very much for having me. It's always good fun on the mic.
It's a lot easier up here than it is down there, but we hope to see you down there in action. Good luck with your season. I hope it goes really well. Thank you for joining us. And for us, about full time, and all it is, it's all she wrote from Bedford Blues and Goldington Road. 33 points to 24. The season is off and running. Mind how you go, and hopefully see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.